Romney guy is terrifying. This Mitt Romney guy is not even a real human being. It's the strangest thing.
He seems like he's from the 50s.
Yeah, man.
Like straight out of the 50s, you know, like those old DAs.
Father knows best.
The DA.
Yeah. What are you kids doing today? You're not getting into any trouble, are you?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a real human. He sat down with some guy who was a gay Vietnam veteran, and the guy asked him about gay rights. And he probably didn't think the dude was a veteran, and that it just said he wasn't into like gay people being married, and then the guy just trashed him after he left. It was great. It was beautiful, but it was awkward watching Mitt Romney communicate with him. He's just so awkward dude. It's like when you see him talking to somebody, it's like, do you interact with anybody? Like, who are you interacting with?
Yeah.
Like, he's like in some fucking silver room, counting diamonds, and he occasionally has one of his minions will come in and ask questions. I mean, this guy's like, he was really, really, really rich. Like, $100 million rich. He's a fucking stupid rich guy. So he's awkward talking to like regular folks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when was the last time he's been like a regular dude, like out there going to Subway, buying a sandwich and shit? He's an odd duck.
And that's what we need. We need some regular people who are out here dealing with real life situations that know, that gas costs money. It's like a lot of times these people don't understand that we have real problems out here on the streets. That there's people that have to ride the bus and.
The funny thing also was to watch the difference between the two conventions. Like when you watched the Republican convention, it was awkward.
Well, it was very strange.
You heard about what they did to the reporter, the CNN reporter?
No.
They threw peanuts at her and called her an animal.
What?
Yeah, black CNN reporter.
What?
Yeah.
Is it on camera?
I don't know if it's on camera, but it was everywhere. It was everywhere in the news.
Holy shit. I vaguely remember skimming through something like that, but I had to run out the door and I never got back to it.
So when
CNN reporter, peanuts.
So so when you say it's awkward, you just look at the Democratic platform and the Democratic convention. It was like all accepting.
Yeah, wow. CNN camerawoman had nuts thrown at her at the GOP. Whoa. That's insane.
Absolutely insane.
Antonio is like a encyclopedia. If something happens, he knows about it.
Yeah, well, that's pretty intense.
It keeps me.
That's the only saving grace of the Liberal Party is that they're much more for equality, whether it's sexual equality, racial equality. The problem is when they start doing the same shit with corporations, they start accepting giant amounts of money, and then they're both basically beholden to the same people at the top. But you benefit socially when Democrats are in.
That's our whole system right now. Everybody's being paid for, by big corporations.
It's that they would do before they got in the office. Then you find out what they're really going to do. It's like they don't really have a say. I mean, Obama. If you could get Obama and he could do whatever the fuck he wanted to, and everybody just had to listen, do you think he would run things this way? I say no fucking way. I say there's an idealistic young college student inside that guy's head. He's too close to that. He's too young, too smart, too articulate. You got to know that at one point in time there was a dude who was, kicking back, who was hoping for a better world. Now here he is, finger on the trigger, and he can't get nothing done. That's when you know. When you get a guy like Obama,
on the trigger.
Yeah, he can't. He can't put it on the trigger.
Yeah.
He can't really. He
can see it.
I don't think they have a say. I think it's just like being a sitcom character. I think you get in there and then they tell you what the fuck you're gonna do, and it's not one person pulling the shots. I think that's why they killed JFK. He tried to get crazy. JFK just decided to say, listen, I'm going to fix things. I'm going to run things the right way. I'm going to get rid of this federal bank. I'm going to do that. And they were like, what?
You out of here.
Get in that fucking car, stupid.
We're going to get rid of you.
Yeah, you're not doing it. This is a money grab. This is not, it's not really all about running the country. It's about making a fuckload of money and running the country while you make a fuckload of money.
But you know what they got to understand that if the money doesn't trickle down to the normal people, if the normal people keep living in the conditions that they're living in, that revolution is going to come. They seen it happen in all these other countries, which they help.
Well, that's these National Defense Authorization Act and the ability to impound people without having to give them due legal process. All that stuff that they're doing right now and passing through law is to just prepare for civil unrest. prepared to do things legally because somebody wrote it on paper, something that's absolutely immoral. So that's what they're preparing to do. They're preparing to do everything the same way Bahrain is doing it, the same way Saudi Arabia is doing it. I mean, we have to look at all these places like Egypt and Libya. You have to look at that and go, worst case scenario, someone could go fucking crazy here too.
I got this crazy an email, and it had a PDF in there, and it was from Citibank, and it was about it was a PDF that only was sent to elite clients, and it was basically telling them how to manage their money in amidst chaos, because chaos is coming. It's a specific name for it. I have to look at my emails. But it was just talking about like the percentage chances of this happening or that happening.
What the fuck? That's just so, it's so hard to wrap your head around the fact that that might be our future. Like that every culture, you know, since the, look, go to the Roman Empire and go look at all those broken down buildings. How come they never kept up those buildings? How come people didn't keep living in them? How come because the whole thing fell apart.
Yeah.
There was nothing left. I mean, the whole thing just shattered into the rocks, and it had to rebuild itself with time. And that keeps happening over and over again to people. We get to this point where we get super greedy, and we have a lot of money and a lot of resources, and the people at the top just hoard over that shit, and then, boom, it hits the rocks.
Yeah. You know, like 100 million is going to be less if you lose $5 million or 200 million. You know, you're not living any better. You know, you can't. There's only so many cars you can drive and so many houses you can live in.
They say after $40 million that your life never changes.
Well, I think what happens though is that people get crazy, and then it becomes like a mad game to them. They can never have enough chips. You know, they just want to keep. I know people that are rich that still get fucking jazzed up about making money. They still get fired up about it. I don't understand it. You know, like, wouldn't you want to, like, if you were Bill Gates, wouldn't you want to just chill? And there's no way you're going to spend all that money. But for him, he's got this empire thing in his head. He gets off on controlling, you know, all these different operating systems, and, you know, having all these computers, having this giant market share, you know, conquering and moving forward and creating new technology and creating new, you know, Xboxes and shit like that. Get addicted. He could retire 100 people. He's got billions of dollars, man. That's assuming that money's going to be worth anything. You know, I mean, try to get a hold of some Roman money. What's that shit worth today?
If it's gold.
Yeah, if it's gold.
It's worth a lot.
Isn't that fucked up that back then when they didn't have anything, man? I mean, there was no cars, there's no TV. People still agreed on gold. Like, you can get me some of that shiny yellow shit.
Gold or the white lines.
Yeah. Well, back then it was probably it was probably poppy seeds and shit.